when Emily looked straight at me and said, "We have separate lives, Daniel. You don't need to know where I go or what I do." Something inside me shattered. For years, I had been the reliable husband, paying bills, fixing leaky faucets, showing up at every family dinner with a smile I forced onto my face. Emily had been distant for months, glued to her phone, always busy with friends I had never met. I kept telling myself it was just a rough patch, that every marriage went through quiet spells. But that night, her words weren't a passing phase. They were a sentence. She wasn't merely asking for space. She was telling me I didn't matter. I leaned back in my chair, forcing my voice calm. "Separate lives, huh?" I repeated slowly. She shrugged, absorbed in her messages as if I wasn't there. I nodded once. "Okay, then, separate lives it is. But if that's what you want, Emily, we'll also have separate wallets." Her head jerked up. "What are you talking about?" she demanded. "I've been carrying this marriage financially." I said evenly, "While you've been carrying whatever it is you've been up to. If I'm not your partner in life, I won't be your ATM either." Shock and anger twisted her face. "You wouldn't dare," she spat. "Oh, I would," I said, standing up and grabbing my laptop. I started transferring money into an account under my name only. For years, I've been trusting, letting her handle part of our savings. But I always kept a backup, a rainy day fund I never mentioned. Tonight, it was pouring. "You can't just cut me off," she shouted. "That's not how marriage works." I laughed bitterly. "Marriage? You just told me we don't have one. You want freedom? Fine. But don't expect me to finance your separate life." For the first time in years, I saw fear flash in her eyes. Emily had been bold only because she assumed I would never push back. Now she was about to find out how wrong she was. Her voice wavered as she tried to regain control. "Daniel, don't be ridiculous. You can't just shut me out financially. We built this life together." I leaned against the doorway, arms crossed. Built together? Or did I build while you enjoyed the view? Be honest, Emily. You haven't paid the mortgage in years. The vacations, the car and the driveway, the credit cards maxed out on dinners I wasn't even invited to. That's all me. All me. Her lips parted, but no words came. For once, she had no comeback. The next morning, I followed through. I rerouted my paycheck, froze the joint account, and put the credit cards under review. By lunchtime, her phone was buzzing with declined charges. That evening, I came home to her pacing the living room, furious. "What the hell, Daniel? My car didn't work at the salon today. Do you know how humiliating that was?" I set down my briefcase calmly. "Not as humiliating as discovering your wife thinks she's single while spending her husband's money." Her eyes narrowed. "So this is punishment. You're trying to control me." "No," I said evenly. "I'm giving you exactly what you asked for. Separate lives. That means you handle your own bills, your own luxuries, your own secrets. I'll handle mine." Her face drained of color. For all her bravado, Emily wasn't ready to live independently. She loved the freedom to do whatever she wanted. But she also loved the safety of knowing my paycheck was covering her lifestyle. Without it, she was exposed. That week, the cracks began to show. Her so-called friends stopped inviting her out once she couldn't pick up the tab. She skipped expensive yoga classes, canceled standing hair appointments. Slowly, the glamorous life she'd built on my money started to crumble. One night, I found her at the kitchen table, silently scrolling through her phone. She didn't even notice me come in. "Something wrong?" I asked. She looked up, eyes red. "Daniel, can we talk?" I didn't mean what I said about separate lives. I was just angry. I shook my head. "No, Emily, you meant every word. And now you're upset because living separately isn't fun when you actually have to pay for it." Her apology sounded hollow, rehearsed. I'd heard it all before. Every time I pulled back, she dangled a half-hearted promise of change, only to slip back into her old ways. This time, I didn't take the bait. I sat across from her at the kitchen table and let the silence stretch. "Emily," I said finally, "you're not sorry. You're scared. Scared of losing the comfort my commitment gave you while you played at Independence. Her eyes filled with tears. That's not true. I love you, Daniel. I was just confused. I shook my head slowly. Love doesn't look like secrecy. It doesn't look like late nights, hidden texts, or brushing me off when I ask for honesty. Love isn't telling your husband you want separate lives and expecting him to bankroll them. She opened her mouth to argue, but I raised a hand. I've already spoken to a lawyer. The accounts are split. The house will be sold, proceeds divided fairly. You'll get your share, enough to live on if you budget wisely, but you won't be living off me anymore. The color drained from her face. For the first time, I saw a genuine panic replace her smug defiance. She was ready to face life on her own. Over the next few weeks, everything moved fast. I moved my things into a small downtown apartment, peaceful, quiet, mine. Emily tried calling late at night, sending tearful messages about starting fresh. But I didn't answer. My fresh start didn't include her. One Saturday, walking along the river, I bumped into an old friend, Claire. We hadn't seen each other in years, yet the conversation flowed effortlessly. No games, no insults, no power struggles. Just laughter and shared memories. That's when it hit me. I'd been starving for this kind of connection, real companionship. Something Emily had stopped offering long ago. By the time the divorce papers were signed, Emily looked like a shadow of the woman who once strutted through life on my arm. She avoided my gaze, her voice barely above a whisper. Goodbye, Daniel. I walked away with my head held high, my future open wide. For the first time in years, I wasn't just surviving a draining marriage. I was free, and freedom, I realized, was worth more than anything she had ever pretended to give.